Okay, so best original screenplay. Jay, what do you got?
My nominees for Best Original Screenplay are Sammy Birch for May December. I have David Hemmingson for The Holdovers, just a wonderful throwback of a script. I have Nicole Holofcener for You Hurt My Feelings, which is basically like an empathetic version of like a Larry David script or something. It's like this very specific little thing that gets under somebody's skin but ends up
so cynical, but I love
destroying a marriage. I have Aki Kaurismäki for Fallen Leaves, just a really small, specific, tender, sad, funny everything of a script. And I have Paul Schrader for Master Gardener. What can I say? I love men writing in journals. But my winner is going to be Sammy Birch for May December. I think that script is just so compelling. I love provocation when it has a purpose, and May December is a very provocative work. It's a very funny work. It has ignited some of the worst discourse on film Twitter this year, which is generally the sign of a good script when you can trick somebody into thinking something about a movie.
Great point.
But that film to me is just so insightful and funny, daring, bold, and just has so many specific scenes that are so incredibly memorable, but even as a whole, it just has so much to say. So my winner is going to be May December. A great, great film with a great, great screenplay.
Okay. Great stuff. Sammy Birch.
Sammy Birch.
Great discovery this year.
Absolutely.
Exactly. A nominee for me in the discovery category. And I will start with Christian Petzold for A Fire. And I will then also nominate Wes Anderson for Asteroid City. Wes Anderson, I agree. JD had a wonderful year. My God, he's just becoming more and more confident. And that's weird to say. He's like 12 films in at this point. Sammy Birch for May December. Ira Sachs for Passages. Why are we not talking enough about Passages? It's such a fantastic film. Another film that I think goes really great with May December in terms of talking about morality within the characters, especially within a trio, and then Celine Song for Past Lives.
Yeah,
and I agree with my friend Jay Ledbetter. Sammy Birch delivered the screenplay of the year, and it was a screenplay that was on the blacklist, and a first-time screenplay too.
Wasn't she a casting director for smaller films beforehand?
She was a casting director for some films, including the Hunger Games series. And
just an insane transition.
And she got to write this film that
woman of many talents
is doing a juggling act of many things. I mean, it's talking about celebrity obsession, celebrity consumption of their consumption of essentially their subject matter. How
it's an original screenplay about adaptation. It's
exactly.
Yeah,
it's wild. Yeah. And then of course it is also about this inspired by story that is now going to get us many. And Jay mentioned that it was controversial. It's like, it's not surprising it's controversial because people on the internet are too dumb enough not to actually like be able to handle something as nuanced as a movie like this. And I think that this movie, much like most films with Todd Haynes, is a delicate wire act, and it is doing it in such a profound way. And yes, there are moments where this movie is absolutely hilarious. Yes, there are moments where this movie is absolutely terrifying, and then there's moments that are absolutely heartbreaking. That's called freaking life, folks. All right, and
it's called movies.
It's called movies, and it's called the intent of what it's trying to say by the end. And it's a lot of what reminded me what I loved so much about another movie made by a guy named Todd Field last year with Tar. It's a prickly little bastard, and I love that about it. And I got to talk to Sammy Birch about it, and she's like the nicest human being on the planet.
I've seen those interviews. She seems so sweet. Like, I would never think someone like her would write such a like. There's a lot of cynicism in this movie.
Exactly,
that originates from the script. It's really incredible.
And that cynicism provides honesty, I think, from somebody that's been inside the machine. So
true.
It's a wild screenplay. Absolutely,
it is.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah, she's a nominee for me for May December. I also have, actually, looking at my nominees here, my 5, it's almost the exact same as Jay's. So we're kind of in sync on this one. But I have Sammy Birch for May December, David Hemmingson for The Holdovers, Nicole Hovsener for You Hurt My Feelings. But I also have Celine's Song for Past Lives, and Justine Triet and Arthur Harari for Anatomy of a Fall. Round out my 5 nominees here. I guess I'll keep the train going. I'm giving it to Sammy Birch for May December as well. So we're 3 for 4, unless JD breaks it. Yeah, so pressure's on JD. I think I know where he's going to go. I won't say what I think it is. But I do love what Sammy Birch is doing for all the reasons that we just talked about. Plus, this script has something that no other movie had this year: hot dogs.
A lot of them.
A lot of them.
How does everybody like their hot dogs?
But is it enough?
I don't know if it's enough.
I keep mine pretty simple.
I like mine plain. I like mine plain.
A regular dog. Just give me some catsup, some mayo.
Maybe a little chili.
Everything
maybe a little
bagel
chili.
bun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Now Jay's getting real specific. I just like I like sweet relish and mustard. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But I do like hot dogs.
Nothing too complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, I can eat a Chicago dog if it's in front of me, but
now I'm getting hungry. All right, JD, go to you.
All right, JD, keep going. Can't talk about hot dogs.
all right.
I have some in the fridge. I might make some after this podcast.
All right. Best original screenplay for me. My nominees here are Justine Triet and Arthur Harari for Anatomy of a Fall, Celine's Song for Past Lives, David Hemmingson for The Holdovers, Sammy Birch for May December, turns out. My last nominee here is the great Wes Anderson, Asteroid City. This was maybe the hardest category for me, guys.
Yeah.
I could have
There's still
picked
time to
any one of these
change, to
5.
unite the 4.
This is probably going to be the category. Brendan, I believe you noted this some moments ago about how quickly this could change.
Yeah.
I could delve in between these 5 for moment to moment, depending on what I've seen last or what's been on my mind the latest. I love this category. I love all 5 of these. I'm sorry to say I am going to break the trend here slightly. As much as I love Sammy Birch, May December, awesome script. I also thought heavily about The Holdovers, awesome script. But I can't shake Celine's Song.
That's the one I thought you were going to go with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Celine's Song for me is like her. I love her direction, but mostly it's her writing. Like the way she writes this film is where it's at its strongest. The performers, of course, tap into it impeccably, but the writing here is really great. And I think what I really love about it is its pragmatism. This is a film that sets up something where it could have been very movie-ish, right? Where they split apart as kids. One's in Canada, one's in Korea. They find each other on the internet. And guess what happens? They reconnect, guys. And they find each other and they live happily ever after. That's a fun story. Sure, that could be great, but that's not what Celine's Song is concerned with.
Right.
And that's why the discourse of all the films for the internet to get crazy about in recent days, it's got to be Past Lives. And to Ryan's point, the dummies, I do not understand where they're coming from. It is incredibly sophisticated. And I love the pragmatism and the commitment to it. Celine's Song wants us to toy with the fantasy, but ultimately we have to live in reality. And that's what's so brilliant about the addition of the husband character and writing him in a way where he is lovable, he's endearing, he's as empathetic. There's nothing antagonistic. Again, a movie version of this would have him doing the thing where he's out to get.
Oh,
this
you feel bad
guy.
for him. You feel bad for him.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Like, and I love that. But and the film does it without ever forsaking Nora in the middle of it. We don't ever
It doesn't ask you to pick a side between their dynamic.
We don't judge her because she's indulging this friend of hers from South Korea that was ripped away from her. Again, going back to choices in this film. Like, everyone understands why she makes that choice. But that's what makes the scenes with her husband so great. And the writing in it all is just so tender and beautiful. And lovely.
Oh, yeah. There are exchanges here that I won't forget. And it's interesting. Like there are exchanges I never would have thought to think about, and I probably should have. Like the idea that maybe in any interracial marriage, if one dreams in their native language, how does the other one
that
feel when
scene,
they hear
that's the
them
one.
talk out
Yeah.
loud? It's like that is such an interesting thought. Like, why did I never think about that? Because that's like someone dreaming in a language that their counterpart, their spouse, doesn't understand. It's a world they don't know how to live in. So
absolutely,
it's so interesting.
One of the more heartbreaking moments of the year, and what makes Arthur such a fascinating character in that film. But they're all great. I mean, the bar scene, the writing of that is just impeccable. One of the best scenes of the year as well.
Yeah.
The writing of this film, that is Celine Song's strength for sure. I, again, love her direction, but it's her writing that makes Past Lives what it is. And for me, it's one of the best films of the year. And as much as I love May December and all of its prickliness, as you guys talked about,
prickly. I love that word for it.
the layers of Past Lives. I love it.
How many layers? 8,000? 8,000 layers of Indian?
layers. Yes, exactly. Well said.